Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Alpert?
Present.
Mr. Hanley?
Here.
Mrs. Cohen?
Here.
Let the record reflect Mr. Dave is on cell phone communication. Mr. Dave?
Yeah, present on phone.
Mr. Dave is on the phone, and Ms. Cruz?
Present. Okay. Executive session?
Everything's was discussed in executive session appropriately.
All right, thank you. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on February 6, 2025. I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes.
I'll second.
So moved.
On the motion?
Yes.
Mrs. Alpert?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Dave?
Yes.
And Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
So we have 5 yes votes on amending the minutes of the February 6, 2025 meeting. If you want
Okay.
to state the amendment?
Yeah. On the question, so the reason why we are amending the minutes from last month's meeting is item number 9. It lists that there was an RFP for a consultant. That is erroneous. Last month, what I stated was an evaluation for a consultant for review. It was originally on our agenda for an RFP, but then upon further conversation with Housing Authority Administration, we learned that we had worked with, that we had a company that we had previously worked with that we were looking into to see if they could possibly come in and look at the organizational structure of the Housing Authority. Upon further review of what their services are, we learned that they do not work with any housing development that is not federally funded. As we do have a complex that is not federally funded, Park Gardens, we are re-voting on tonight's agenda for a true RFP. So that is the reason for the amendment of the minutes.
And what are we amending?
We are amending item number 9 on the minutes from RFP. Actually, what was said was evaluation for a consultant to review the organizational structure and operation of the Scranton Housing Authority.
On the motion to amend, then, Mrs. Alpert?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Dave?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
The motion has been approved.
So,
Now, I believe we have to
Yes.
approve the minutes of the entire meeting?
yes, as
Correct.
amended, yes. Yes, approval of the minutes, of the amended minutes of the regular meeting held on February 6, 2025.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Alpert?
Yes.
Mr. Hanley?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Dave?
Yes.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report for the period January 30th, 2025 to February 26th, 2025.
Okay, so the treasurer's report, last month, I think I reported that we were looking at how we're reporting this, and we were going to look at some changes to make it more comprehensive and clear. Unfortunately, we're still working on it. It's still a work in progress, so by next month, I'm hoping to have that in a better form and more accurate form to give people a better picture. So the treasurer's report right now, the balance of our checking account and money market accounts are $1,093,120.03. Investments in CDs amount to $8,385,184.33. Petty cash and magistrate funds total $11,400 for a grand total of $9,489,704.36. Paid bills from January 30th to February 26th were forwarded to all the members. If there were no questions,
Can I have a motion to
motion
approve?
for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Dave,
Mr. Dave?
Yes.
yes, okay, Ms. Cruz,
Yes.
thank you.
Secretary's report, communications to the board?
I received no communications, or right, with no
That's
communications.
correct,
Okay.
thank you.
We will now receive public comment. As per Housing Authority policy, each public commenter is limited to 5 minutes. And first on our list is Rick Little. Mr. Rick Little?
Hi, Rick Little, Scranton. I just came to the window downstairs, and they have all these cards sitting out there, and she wouldn't give me one of the cards. And she just says, go to our website. I've been to the website many times. Who's in charge of the website?
What do you mean you were asking for cards?
There's these cards of what people do at Scranton Housing Authority on the other side.
Business cards, Fred?
Yeah,
Business cards?
yeah.
I'll get them after the meeting for you.
Yeah, I mean, what they instructed me is that I have to come to this meeting and ask
take
for
care of
those,
that.
and that doesn't seem right to me because, you know, it's supposed to be a transparent operation where you can see what's going on, and there's not a lot of housing. This thing on the consultant, what you're saying that you're not hiring the consultant you wanted?
No, because they do not look at any housing development that is not federally funded. They only do ones that are subsidized by HUD. And as we have a development that is under the purview of the Housing Authority, we just decided that it was
But-
better to.
I understand that, but it is a HUD facility over there.
Park
Park Gardens, 1952,
Park
yeah.
Gardens? It is not, it receives no subsidy.
But it's owned by.
It is overseen by,
It's owned by Scranton Housing Authority,
Correct.
because people have tried to buy it,
correct.
that you own it, so I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the purview of, you know, what's federally funded and, you know, what's exempt, and because I've been seeing in so many agencies, they hire outside people, you know, for inspections, for, you know, ERAP funds. They send it to somebody in Philadelphia to do. Anyway, is there, in the operation of Scranton Housing Authority, is there any employee considered a public officer of the city of Scranton?
No.
No. Is there any, in the operation of Scranton Housing Authority, is there any employee considered a public officer of the county of Lackawanna?
No, Scranton Housing Authority and Lackawanna Housing Authority are two separate entities.
Are any employees of SHA holding office in any other city, county, or state offices?
Any employee of the
Employee.
Scranton Housing Authority holding offices?
Yeah, like DA, like deputy DA, like,
Not that I'm aware. I would say no, but if somebody's on a township board or something I'm not aware of, I would say no, though, Fred.
don't you work
Not
for the district attorney's office?
Me?
Yeah,
I used to.
you used to,
Yeah.
but you don't anymore.
Not in 15 years.
Okay.
I came over here.
But do you have an employee, David Cohen, who works for the district attorney's office?
Yeah, yes, we do, correct.
David
correct.
Cohen is under contract well, the district attorney's office, I should say, has a contract with us to give us an assistant DA on a yearly basis. It happens to be David Cohen at this time. But he's
Okay.
a contracted employee he's with
So
the
the
county.
caveat is he's a contracted employee, but he's not really an employee.
He's not under any of our, he gets paid through the county, but his office is out of our building. We contract with the district attorney for an assistant DA to handle certain matters for us.
Like evictions.
Correct.
Why
He
isn't...
handled yours, right?
What?
He handled yours?
Yeah, I won, but, and then you switched to Mr. Doherty's law firm, which handles the school board. So how does it, I'm just trying to,
On what issue are you talking about now? You're lost.
well,
On your
your
appeal?
solicitor is Mr. Doherty from the school.
Time's up, sir.
Time's up.
Mr. Little, you've reached your 5-minute limit, Mr. Little.
I've reached my 5 minute.
Yes.
So I don't get an answer to my questions?
I'm not sure what your question was. You want to know who's handling your case now?
No, I want to know when Scranton Housing Authority hired Scanlon, I forget the middle name, and Doherty to evict me. I was evicted by the second time by Mr. Doherty. It just seems weird that's the law firm that's put up against a person living totally on Social Security in the courts, and they're not an employee. You're using the term contracted. Is your law firm contracted? Your solicitor contracted?
Yes, they bid it every 2 years, I believe, and he was.
So aren't they an employee of Scranton Housing Authority?
He's not an employee of Scranton Housing. He's under contracts with us.
Oh, so that's the wording. A person under contract is not an employee with Scranton Housing Authority. I mean, all your maintenance people, aren't they under contract?
They're
Your managers?
employees.
Is there one person I can contact? The person downstairs keeps saying, you have to go to the website. I've been to the website 50 times.
Last question, but what are you looking for? I'll give you my card.
And I can call you,
Every day, call me every day if you'd like. but-
because I was in
may
that
not like my
situation
answers,
4
but you can
years
call
ago,
me.
and your secretary, I guess, didn't give the message, because I didn't get it back, because I was writing all kinds of letters to you, and then, I'm taken to court. Oh, you never
You can
gave
call
any
me.
letters.
You can call me. I'll give you my card right after the meeting. That way we avoid everybody else. You deal with me.
But there's not one person who's in charge of what is seen on the website.
What is seen?
What is there? Because it's,
We do have somebody who works on the website.
Yeah.
Who does post things and adds things as needed. There is somebody who actively.
I believe it was one of the names on the card through the window that they wouldn't give me,
I'll get you your answers. Just call me tomorrow.
Can I get those cards?
You'll get my card.
No, but the
No,
4 cards
you'll get my
downstairs?
card. Whatever questions you have, I will explore, and I will get you an answer.
But
I don't need you tying up everybody in the building, Fred. I will deal with you, and I will track down whatever issue you may have on that day. Okay? You have my word on that.
Okay, I guess so.
Thank you.
I don't know why stuff isn't posted.
Fred, your time's up.
Thank you, Mr. Little. Heather Dobb?
Thank you.
Call one before this, but. You can move it down, right? Just pull it down? Okay. Heather Dalby. I came today just kind of for a couple of reasons to see what happens with the board and stuff. I have been living as a resident in housing for over 20 years.
Where do you live?
Hilltop Manor. There's just, I mean, there's a lot of different things, but recently I have had the ability to talk with individuals, and one of the questions that kind of kept coming up with evictions was trying to look for the right to counsel for individuals who of lower income, and that was something that I kind of wanted to ask the board if us as a resident have that right when there's an eviction, if we have that ability to, if it's provided at all, or given us an opportunity to. I wasn't sure if that's an answer you guys can give, or if that's a city council thing, or a whichever board and council.
I think I can answer.
I guess I'm not sure the question.
You're not
She
seeking,
wants to know what right she has if she gets a notice of eviction.
you're not seeking legal advice or financial aid.
Kind of a little bit of like both, because I know, like, previously I had an eviction years. I went to court, met with Judge Corbett. I was able to stay because I was able to eventually come up with the funds, but then had to pay extra penalty costs afterwards, which I understand that's part of my lease, and I agreed to it when I signed it and stuff. I was just, they asked me if I had counsel when I had gone there, and I said, well, no, I can't afford a counsel. And so I was
I don't
wondering.
want to cut you off, but I have a list for a separate issue, but I can give you this.
Okay.
And you can contact, I don't have legal aid's number, but
Lackawanna Pro, okay. I wasn't sure. I like I said,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
have it.
sure if that
I was
was
gonna read it. Sure, I was gonna.
something to present to you guys or not. You know, and then just,
Now, that's why the judge asked you to have counsel, because you can get almost all the time free
You're
counsel.
welcome.
yeah.
any of
Thank you.
these, I don't have the phone numbers, but, not to pry, but are you currently in a situation that you need that? You
I had an eviction a little bit ago, but I
Is it
believe
pending though
that,
still? Is it? you
I
can-
don't know. I have
Alright.
no idea if it is or isn't.
You can call them now even without an action against you.
Okay,
Legal aid will set up a meeting, and you can come down to their office. They'll assign either a paralegal or a lawyer, and they'll give you advice as to, you know, whatever the issue is, as to how to proceed to best protect your interests.
okay,
And if they can't take your case for some reason, Lackawanna Pro Bono
yeah.
also gets, we'll hook you up with an attorney.
Okay. I mean, that, I kind of was just in general, because I believe I'm okay right now. I'm paying.
Ask your manager what the status of
Yeah,
your case is.
I will.
She'll know.
I will,
And then you can do accordingly,
yeah.
okay?
And then, the only other, like, the other part of it was just, like I said, I just wanted to kind of observe and attend and just kind of get to know. Because I didn't
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank
You're
you.
always
know
welcome.
the inner workings, and I appreciate it, and eventually in the future may have better questions or more statements, so.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That exhausts public comment. Committee reports. Chairperson report. I have nothing extensive this month. However, as Mr. Lynott just alluded to, last month, a memo was sent to Park Gardens residents that list agencies and organizations within the city and within our area that provide rental assistance to eligible residents who are in need of aid. I had received some email inquiries, some face-to-face inquiries from residents who were concerned about the rent increase and wanted to know if there was agencies they could reach out to see. And so I'm not going to go through numbers, but they are as follows: United Neighborhood Centers, Lackawanna County Human Services, the Office of Economic and Community Development, Friends of the Poor, and Catholic Social Services. As always, members of the public, as well as residents of all of our housing units, can email, in addition to reaching out to Mr. Line or any of the staff here, they can also reach out to my colleagues and I through our email addresses, which are listed on the website. That is all I have. Next, the Executive Director report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With regards to delinquencies for February, we had 329 total, at a total amount of $252,748.90, as opposed to 334 in January, with the total amount of $286,641.55, and December's was 346 delinquent accounts for a total of $268,136.30. With regards to the utility report for February, the total cost was $177,156.23, as opposed to January's $336,996.51. The construction report as of February 20th, site work for Building 13 and 14 at Valley View. As of December 19th, the site work was shut down, waiting till weather conditions are suitable for the work to be done. All contractors on Building 12 has started the new project in Building 12. General construction, the contractor has started demolition. HVAC construction, the contractor has started demolition and core drilling. Plumbing construction, the contractor has started demolition and core drilling. Electrical construction, the demolition is completed in the apartments. The contractor started the demolition in the crawl space. And an update on the security cameras at Jackson Terrace. The cameras are all installed at Jackson Terrace, waiting for certified payrolls to be completed and payment to follow. At Riverside Apartments, the work is continuing. That concludes the Executive Director report.
Thank you. Our solicitor report.
So in reference to the solicitor's report, there are a number of matters of litigation or matters before state or federal agencies. They're all being addressed. Two of those matters were dismissed by state or federal agencies this past month. The other matters are in litigation.
Thank you. Our apartments report.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. This report is for February 2025. Under public housing, we have an ACC of 1,214 units with 1,171 units under effective lease. There are 43 vacant apartments, in which 27 vacant units are under modernization, vacant approved by HUD. On the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program, we have an ACC of 1,050 units with 736 units under effective lease. That is a total apartment under effective lease by the Scranton Housing Authority as of February 2025 of 1,907 out of an ACC of 2,264 units. In regard to Park Gardens, there are currently 161 out of 166 occupied units. That concludes the apartment report.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, for under the committee report, do any of my colleagues have anything they'd like to add for this month?
I just wanted to add that I was part of an introductory Zoom meeting for the stakeholders of the potential new trail near Connell Park. And that is the conversation that Gus Fahey brought to our attention. And that's one that could connect city residents with hundreds of acres of state forest land. So they had a Zoom meeting, and it was just an introductory call, so more to come on that project.
Glad you were able to make that. I missed it.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything for under unfinished business?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. 9, new business.
Yes.
Is this where we amend
Not yet.
Okay,
Not
okay.
yet. First,
Okay.
9A, Resolution 25-7, approval to open the four-bedroom waiting list for public housing. Whereas the Scranton Housing Authority has determined that the waiting list for the public housing program does not contain an adequate pool of applications for use of available program funding. And whereas the Scranton Housing Authority is desirous to start accepting new applications in the near future, and now therefore be it resolved this third day of March 2025 that the Scranton Housing Authority Board of Commissioners hereby approves the opening of the four-bedroom waiting list for public housing. Can I have-
All right, did you want to Lisa?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna ask questions too. Whoever wants to go first, can I?
I want to know, how does that news get out to the public? I mean, I know it's at the meeting here, but like, how do we promote that, or people find out about that
The opening will be posted, obviously, on our door. It'll be posted on our website.
on the website?
And that's, the newspaper will be, I would say next Monday to be effective, so we would do the 10th of March and post it in those three.
How many four-bedroom units do we have?
Off the top of my head, I don't want to make up a number, but not
Approximately, just give me that.
20 to 40
Okay.
in that neighborhood,
Throughout all of our amps, right? Throughout all of
throughout
them?
all of our
20 to
developments,
40.
correct.
And so it becomes opened, the waiting list became open today?
No, the waiting list is depleted to under 15 applications, so
Okay.
we need to open it up and get another amount of people applying for that number apartment.
So then when is the, I guess, the deadline when it becomes closed then? Like, what window do we have?
We'll determine that as we see. It may just remain open.
Okay,
It won't be an influx of applicants for that amount, but
okay,
we can leave it open for the foreseeable future,
okay,
okay? There's no
Okay.
set time limit.
okay.
And then just one other question, what is the requirement? Like, you have to have so many people in the family, like, what's the number?
Husband and wife would be one bedroom. Children under 2 can either stay with the parents or have their own. And then I think it's boy, girl, obviously, would have to have their own, so. But they would need a minimum of 4 people, depending on the age and the sex.
Okay.
Can I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
On the resolution 25-7, approval to open the 4-bedroom waiting list for public housing. Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley.
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen.
Yes.
Mr. Dave still there?
Yes, I have to leave in 5 minutes, so.
Okay, Mr. Last,
He said yes.
okay, Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
That's 5 votes, thank you.
चलो माया અહીંયા જશે હા એકથી હું નહીં કરું
Okay. B, bid opening February 21st, 2025, plumbing materials for all developments.
9B, regarding the plumbing and electrical supplies bid, a letter from Attorney Doherty. This will acknowledge receipt of your correspondence concerning the bids for plumbing and electrical supplies. I've reviewed the bids for electrical materials and the bids for plumbing materials. First bid for electrical materials. No, it's plumbing, I'm sorry, we'll read plumbing first. The bids for plumbing materials, there were 2 bids submitted for plumbing materials. They were Eastern Penn Supply Company and Chapman Supply Incorporated. Based on the documentation submitted, the low bidder was Eastern Penn Supply Company in the amount of $17,563.86. Again, the bid is reasonable and appropriate. They met all of the requirements of the bid form, and all of the appropriate documentation is in order. It is my opinion that the bid for Eastern Penn Supply Company should be accepted and the contract should be awarded to them. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the matter, Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen.
Yes,
Mr. Dave, you still there? Or
he's muted.
Oh, that's right.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes. Mr. Dave, do you want to repeat your answer?
Is he there? He might have hung up.
Yeah. No, he's still there.
That's,
That's okay.
on the electrical
I
materials,
said yes.
He said yes.
he said yes, okay, that's a 5 vote.
Okay.
Bid for electrical materials. There was 1 bid submitted for electrical materials. It was from Cooper Electric, based on the document submitted. Cooper Electric's bid of $23,269.45 is reasonable and appropriate. They met all of the requirements of the bid form, and all of the appropriate documentation is in order. It is my opinion that the bid from Cooper Electric should be accepted, and the contract should be awarded to them. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
On the matter for electrical materials being awarded to Cooper Electric, Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Dave,
Mr. Dave?
Yes.
and Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Part D, RFPs for a consultant to review the organizational structure and operation of Park Gardens. But we are going to amend the language. So can I have a motion to amend? Is that what we're doing?
I'll make a motion that we amend the language to issue an RFP for a consultant to develop a
To create a strategic plan for the Scranton Housing Authority.
On the motion, Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Dave,
He said yes.
Yes?
Mr. Dave's a yes.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
Okay, the motion to amend has been approved.
Yes, so now let me read it as it is, as the amended motion. RFP for a consultant to create a strategic plan for the Scranton Housing Authority.
The
Need a-
meeting,
I need a motion.
Oh, so moved.
Second. Sorry.
On the motion presented by Ms. Cruz regarding an RFP for a consultant, Mrs. Alpert,
Yes.
Mr. Hanley,
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Dave? Don't think that was
Mr. Dave?
yes.
Yeah.
I have to leave now.
Ms. Cruz?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion was passed 5-0. We don't require Mr. Dave anymore.
Yeah,
We
no.
can hang
Yes,
up
I've
that
let him
phone
go.
call. Thank God.
Okay, so moved?
There is no personnel matters this evening.
No. No. So I will make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
I'd like to get the minutes from the last meeting.
These are amended. You want this? I'll give you this.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I took notes of it.